Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. That is Ari. I'm Korea. It's Friday, July 5th, 2024. I think we're getting the heat wave. Ari, I got my fan on. Obviously, I know it's down. I know it's hot for you out there. You know it's not. You know what is hot though? Not our picks. Let's get into that recap, shall we? Yesterday, tough day. Tough day. Unfortunately, tough 4th of July for us. No fireworks in our picks. Unfortunately, the Rangers' first five, fortunately, just bats did not want to show up. I mean, you see the stat line. Rangers went 6 for 32 on bats. They left 7 men on base. Look, Scherzer did all he could, obviously. He did. I think he only allowed one run through the first five. I think it was to Solano. I think it was a one-run single. Rangers bats they were inexistent. Michael King cooked them. What else can I say? It was just Rangers bats weren't alive, didn't show up, and I mean, if you saw the whole game, they left 7 men on base, so obviously they got some guys on, but they couldn't hit them home. So when they did have those opportunities, just couldn't get those guys in. So just tough time to back the Rangers, especially with their bats right now. Just absolutely anemic, couldn't do anything. Especially with their ace on the mound. I thought Scherzer did pretty well, obviously only allowing one run. And obviously in the top of the sixth, he allowed that home run to Profar. But, he did enough. But obviously the Rangers' bats were inexistent. Speaking of bats being inexistent, Ari, how did the Dodgers do?
Yeah, all I can really say is Christian Walker owns the Dodgers right now. I think he has like 6 home runs in 6 games at Dodger Stadium, like in his last 6 games at Dodger Stadium. He had 2 home runs in his first 2 at bats in this game. And I think it was the first and the third inning. They're up 4-0, and then the Dodgers got 3 back in the fourth. And they get 4-3, and they got to Gallen like I expected. He only went 4 innings, probably partially because it was only a second start back from injury. But he still threw 85 pitches, 4 innings, and then the Diamondbacks bullpen shut the Dodgers out the rest of the game, 5 innings. And the Diamondbacks got to the Dodgers bullpen. I mean, mostly late. They scored 4 runs in the 9th, so it was still only 4 or 5-3 up to that point. So they're still in it through the end until the top of the 9th when Arizona broke it open. But yeah, I mean the Dodgers got to Gallen like I expected. But I guess Knack had a little more trouble than I thought he would at home. And then I didn't think the Diamondbacks bullpen had 5 shutout in them like they got last night. But that's the way it goes sometimes.
I was quickly looking up, the next time Christian Walker plays the Dodgers, and it's not wait until the end of August. So we got to remember the end of August, beginning of September, Christian Walker to get a home run is going to be very free that weekend. But obviously, as you said, Christian Walker does own the Dodgers right now. His bat just finds a way to end up in the seats. Making good connection on the ball. It was all Diamondbacks all day. Even with obviously the Dodgers scoring 3, I mean, if the other team scores 9, it's kind of hard to come back from that. So just, tough to see, Landon Knack at home, obviously, just Apps get absolutely shelled. Christian Walker and his bat, the D-backs right now, obviously on a roll right now, finding their bats right now, obviously, especially going to Dodger Stadium. So hopefully, we're going to bounce back from this tough Independence Day with 3 picks from each of us, obviously, to wrap up this week. Obviously, a big slate for the Euros. Obviously, there's a game going on right now, and I'm not it's too close. I don't know who's winning each game. But obviously, I do know who's winning tonight for baseball. First, we're going to go to Cincinnati, and we're taking the Reds money line here at -130. Look, we always talk about backing a team when they're hot. That team just swept the Yankees on the road in the Bronx. They look like they're making connection with the ball now, and they go back home and they're getting them at that price was actually, I saw that at like minus like 115, so that got priced all the way up to -130 in about maybe like a 2-hour span. But the Reds money line I love today because they're facing Reese Olson, who I think is honestly the worst, one of the worst in the Tigers rotation. 2-8 on the season. He has a 3.32 ERA, but he only does good against teams that don't hit against righties. And his last good start against that was against, the Braves, where he went 6 innings, 8 Ks, 0 runs, but the Braves can't hit righties. And you're getting the Reds at home against a team that can hit the right-handed ball in a very hitter-friendly ballpark. I'm going to back the Reds all the time at this price at -130, even with the fact that it's Carson Spears, on the bump for the Reds. It's probably going to be some kind of bullpen day. Or if Carson Spears does go another 6 innings, then they don't have to worry about a bullpen day, because he's been going 6 innings in his last 3 starts. But he's faced Pittsburgh twice and then St. Louis, so he's never faced someone, honestly, outside of the division, which is honestly, or even outside the league, which is crazy. But now he's facing the Tigers at home, who honestly, their bats are very confusing right now. I don't really like the Tigers right now. Their offense is very, very suspect. They're pretty much near the bottom in almost every single category in terms of runs, batting average, total bases, home runs. They're 20th plus in all of them. They got beat down yesterday, 12-3. Kenta Maeda just absolutely got shelled at Target Field. And I don't like them going to Cincinnati, another hitter-friendly ballpark where they just let up 12 runs yesterday. I'm just taking the Reds here at -130. You're getting them for a really good price here. I know this line's probably going to go up a lot more, so you may want to get it while you can. So I like it at -130 right now. So get it right there. And then we're going to go to Atlanta. I'm sprinkling this, so give it just a half unit here. But I'm sprinkling the Phillies tonight on the money line, and I know all the Braves fans are going to be like, "Oh, what? Why are you taking the Phillies in Atlanta? You always got to take the Braves at Truist Park." Let me explain here. I'm just backing Aaron Nola on the road. I know that Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber are still out, but yesterday was a horrible game. It was just never the Phillies. I don't know. I saw so many people betting the Phillies yesterday. I was more on the over, and Jamison Tyone cooked. I feel like it was just a bad matchup. Now they go to a team that they're very familiar with, obviously, who they have plenty of experience against, and they're going on the road. Obviously, Nick Castellanos, I think his bat is starting to get hot. Obviously, I don't know. I don't know if anyone died yesterday, but he hit a homer. So rest in peace to somebody on the 4th of July. But Nick Castellanos, I feel like his bat's starting to get hot again. Obviously, Trey Turner coming back into this lineup, I think, is kind of a key part. And even though Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber are still out, I think having him is still a big piece. Obviously they have Stott leading off most of the time, with that pretty very rotational lineup. I still think, they sneak out a win, in Atlanta. I'm not too confident on that, so I'm just sprinkling a half unit on it because of them backing Aaron Nola, and the fact that they're facing Max Fried, who they do have pretty good experience against. We look at the splits, we have guys like Alec Boehm who are hitting about 200 against him, but Nick Castellanos 4 for 8 with a homer. Like I said, his bat's starting to get hot. Bryson Stott 2 for 8. A bunch of guys, Trey Turner 1 for 4. A bunch of guys have pretty good, splits against him. Even Rojas has a hit against him. So I think, the fact that you have all those guys who have pretty good splits against him, I think makes it a challenge. Even though the Braves, obviously, the one challenge with them is that, obviously their lineup is pretty dangerous as well. But their lineup is hit or miss sometimes. And, obviously we saw a game like yesterday where, Logan Webb goes in a pitcher who has struggled on the road at times. Obviously, we talked about Logan Webb, at home versus on the road. He went in there 7 Ks. He had allowed 7 hits, which obviously is a lot, but only 2 runs, 6 Ks, and a walk. And I'm just backing that momentum that, a good pitcher who on the road here, in the spot like Aaron Nola, I think he potentially has a good game, and we're back in the fact that the Phillies obviously do have good splits against Max Fried. Like I said, Nick Castellanos, Trey Turner, just to name a couple guys. So we're sprinkling the Phillies tonight at +114. We're getting them for a pretty good price here. I've seen their line kind of go the opposite way in terms of like I saw them as high, maybe it was +130-ish all the way down to +114-ish. So, like I said, get them while they're plus money before you can, obviously, because I do like the Phillies tonight. But I am in love with that total down there, the Rockies and Royals. I am taking the over 11. I know the total right now is at 10.5, and you can take it there, but I'm more on the confidence that it's going to go over 11, and I think that total is going to raise to 11 throughout the day. And we're getting it at plus 112 right now on DraftKings. So the fact that it's plus money is something that I like right now. I'm more on the fact that this game is going to go over. We have two systems in play here. We have the Rockies at home against lefties who are very, very good. They love to hit the ball. And we have the Royals who can hit lefties too. And who's on the mound? Cole Reagans and Kyle Freeland. I'm sorry, Cole. I love to back Cole Reagans, but I think this is his first time at Coors, and I don't think it's going to go well for him. Like I said, I've seen the Royals price kind of go in that opposite favor. And I don't want to back the Rockies in any way, shape, or form because their bullpen is absolutely atrocious, which makes me more confident in this total more because of the fact that we're backing the runs here. The Royals, obviously, they have one of the scariest lineups. We're backing Bobby Witt Jr. in a very hitter-friendly park. Are you sure he's not going to go yard? I don't know what his basis price is, but I think a lot of people are going to be taking Bobby Witt plus over 1.5 bases. I think that may be the most bet thing today. I think that might be the most given out thing today. I'm not even kidding you. I think he may even go yard in his first at bat. I think guys like Bobby Witt, Salvador Perez, guys who hit the ball well in a very hitter-friendly ballpark. I think this game is going to go soar over. I think this is one of those like 8-7, 9-8, or one of those games because both bullpens for the Royals and Rockies are not good. And we talk about the Rockies bullpen, in fact, the worst in baseball, giving up runs left, right, and center in any way, shape, or form. And then the Royals, obviously, the Rockies at home against lefties, that's one system. And obviously the Royals bullpen just not good at all. So I'm just backing the fact that this game's going to go over. I know it right now it's at 10.5, but I think it's going to go over 11. So right now I'm taking that at plus 112 because I think that total is going to go up to over 11 or 11.5 throughout the day probably. So those are my three bets for you today, all on the diamond. The Reds money line at minus 130, the Phillies money line at plus 114, a little bit of a sprinkle there, and then the Royals and Rockies over 11 at plus 112 at Coors. Ari, what have you cooked up today?
Yeah, I have 3 plays as well, and as I mentioned to you, I'm backing the Reds as well, but in a more kind of cheeky way to get them at plus money. This is on DraftKings. I assume it's on most of the major books, but I'm not completely sure. But it's just for the Reds, or they're obviously at home, for them to not bat in the bottom of the 9th. So essentially for them to win in 9 innings, for them to win in 9 innings, that's not a walk-off in the bottom of the 9th, I should say. Obviously it adds a little bit of risk to it, but I think that they're going to win easily enough to where they're going to win easily in 9 innings. Obviously you touched on the Reds. The Tigers have, the starting advantage, I would say slightly, but I think the Reds have the advantage pretty much in every other way. Bullpen, bats, they're the hotter team. Like you said, they're coming off a sweep of the Yankees in New York, which is, momentum in and of itself. Spires has been stretched out more, or he was stretched out more in June. He didn't throw more than 4 innings through the end of May, and then all 4 starts in June, he went at least 5 2/3. Obviously, it wasn't against the best competition, but neither are the Tigers, especially away from Detroit, where they're even worse on the road as a hitting team this year. So it's really, just as simple as backing, the hotter team as of late, the better team, better bullpen, better lineup, better everything except for starting pitching. And I think, in Great American ballparks, Reese Olson could have some trouble, as you touched on as well, against the Reds bats. Pretty much as simple as that. Reds to not bat in the bottom of the 9th plus 110. Essentially, I think it's my line as long as it ends after the top of the 9th. So that's my first play. Second play, going back to the first 3 under. Mets Pirates, Luis Severino against Paul Skeens. Pretty self-explanatory with Paul Skeens. Even though I think it's maybe 2 straight starts he's given up a leadoff home run, if I'm not mistaken, or 2 of the last 3 starts. So I know he's had that happen to him a couple of times, at least in the past few starts. So backing him one time through the lineup here, and then Severino, who has had trouble on the road on the season, but his past 2 road starts, he went 6 shutout against the Cubs, and then he went 8 innings of home run against the Nationals. Again, not the best lineups, but again, the Pirates aren't the best lineup either, overall. So just backing Severino one time through the lineup. There, you can also get under 1.5 at plus 160, which I think is worth sprinkling. But, obviously a little bit safer is under 2.5 at minus 130. So, yeah, Mets Pirates first 3 innings under 2.5. Just one time through the lineup. I hit it on my last one with the Angels A's. It was sweaty, it was 2-0, a little bit sweaty, but I like this play as well. Mets Pirates first 3 under 2.5. And then the last play, Red Sox first 5 ML. The Yankees have been in shambles as of late. I think I saw a stat that in the last 2 weeks, or I think it was since June 15th, they have the worst record in the MLB in that span, the last 2 or 3 weeks. We talked about the Reds coming off a sweep at home against the Reds. They lost 3 in a row, 4 or 5. Red Sox have won 4 in a row. Red Sox have the better, starter on the mound today, Tanner Houck. Obviously I've said before, I like to back Cortez at home. So, I don't think it's, that makes it a little bit risky, but Houck's been the better starter. It's been a kind of a small sample size, but the Yankees hitters lifetime are hitting only 173 against Houck in their careers. Judge is 3 for 9. LeMahieu's 0 for 11. So there's 0 for 2. Glaber's 5 for 19. And on the other end, and again, small sample size, but the Red Sox are hitting 371 as a team against Nestor Cortez in their careers. Devers 3 for 11. Refsnyder 6 for 10. That's pretty much the only big sample size somewhat. So again, small sample size, but regardless, that's just another factor, adding into the play. It's more so, Red Sox being the better team as of late, and they have the better starter on the mound today. So I see the value in plus 114 in their first of ML. I still like the Yankees bullpen, so that's why I'm just going first 5 for the Red Sox, backing the better starter and the better bats as of late. So 3 plays. Reds not bad in the bottom of the 9th at plus 110. Mets Pirates first 3 under 2.5 at minus 130. And the Red Sox first 5 ML at plus 114.
Like I said earlier, I'm on the Reds. I'm on the Reds money line, but you're on the Reds money line with a twist. I do like that play, not to bat in the bottom of the 9th. Basically, the Reds have a comfortable enough lead, or have a lead enough, to not, need, to bat in the bottom of the 9th, or need a walk off in any way, shape, or form, or to go to an extras in any way, shape, or form. Just backing the Reds at home and the bats. Reese Olson, you mentioned, 2-8 record. His ERA speaks for itself. He bats, he does well against teams that don't hit righties well, and obviously the Reds at home and their bats, they're hitting well. Obviously, we mentioned, their sweep at New York and the Yankees. Their bats have been hitting well and they're making contact. And, the Raleigh Reds, you back them when they're hot. So you're basically just backing the Reds with a twist here, just to get it done through 8.5 innings. To not have to worry about going through the full 9, just going through the 8 innings and then worrying about just getting the 3 in the top of the 9th. And then closing that game out there. I love that play for you. But the Mets and Pirates, I'm on their first 5 under as well. You're on the first 3 under. Love that play for you. You mentioned Paul Skeens. Obviously, if not Jerry Jones, Paul Skeens, obviously the best pitcher, in the Pirates right now rotation, obviously getting all the hype and attention, and it's deserved, obviously, just with how well his fastball, his rising heater, it reaches 102 sometimes, and it just swing and misses every time, has not had a losing start, knocking on wood so far on the season. And, obviously just backing them at home, and the Mets don't hit righties well. As we mentioned, they hit lefties a lot better than they hit righties. I mean, obviously, Luis Severino, obviously, he has not struggled. He has struggled sometimes on the road, but the Pirates, they were a disappointment yesterday, and Mr. Furry Man, 0 for 4. Everyone was betting on him yesterday, including myself, and I was disappointed to see, an 0 for 4 performance after he tweeted it out, and all the people there wearing those costumes with Andrew McCutchen jerseys. But the Pirates bats, I think Luis Severino, obviously a nominee for comeback player of the year, obviously just because, his ERA speaks for itself, one of the better ones, and he has decent splits. I think he's not allowing a batting average over 200 against the Pirates bats so far. So I do that just backing one time through the lineup for you. First three under 2.5. I said, as you mentioned last time, it hit for you. So hopefully it hits again. And then the Red Sox first five. I love that play for you as well. Just backing the Red Sox, the better team right now. Yankees in shambles right now, just not good. Everything that can go wrong is going wrong for New York right now. You heard the boos yesterday at Yankee Stadium, and as you mentioned, the Red Sox do have better splits, against Nestor Cortez historically. They do know how to hit the ball against them, even though Nestor Cortez is better at home. And then you mentioned Tanner Houck, obviously, he is the better pitcher in this matchup right now. And you're just backing the Red Sox with the first five, obviously, with the Yankees having the better bullpen matchup here. Just backing the Red Sox either to be tied or having a lead through five. I love that play for you. Those are Ari's 3 plays, and then my 3 plays, obviously, with the Reds, Phillies, and then the Rockies, Royals over 11. You can find all of these plays and obviously this video on our Twitter below, AKP Sports Talk. That is our Twitter below. You can follow that. But that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back, obviously, next Monday, July 8th, for another video of best bets. But that is going to do it for this episode. That is Ari. I'm Korea. We will see you on Monday. Win some money this weekend. Have a great weekend and win some money.